brought the garden inside for us to enjoy together, because when I'm filming outside in the garden, I'm filming and I'm holding it and pointing it at the plants and filming the plants and the flowers and the sky and things. But you don't get to see me talking to you, you just get to hear my voice. So I thought this time I would bring the flowers in and we could share them and enjoy them together. These are some of my favourite, the little pink roses. They're just delightful. They're like these little round fluffy snowball ones, and they don't grow much bigger than that. That's the little buds. And they have a delightfully light scent, not overpowering, or else I wouldn't be able to have them in the home. But they're gorgeous. These are one of my favourites. But these little ones are very, very thorny. I don't know if you can see them, but they're extremely prickly little ones. Gorgeous to look at, but you've got to be ever so careful when you're touching them and picking them. And I've got them in a frame obelisk so that contains them and they don't go every which way and accidentally prickle anyone. But they're so pretty. I've got lots of flowers I've brought in to show you. This one is another rose, but totally different, in a different colour and a completely different style. Look how big it is. This has got more of a scent, but again, not overpowering. But I couldn't have a vase full of these ones inside, or it would give me a headache. But one I can manage. But mostly I just enjoy these outside. I don't normally pick these for picked cut flowers inside, but I wanted to show you. So I brought one inside because it's really gorgeous. Look at those soft petals. They're just beautiful. It's a big one, this one. And lovely green leaves, just beautiful. This lemon one. Quite different from the little baby pink ones. They're delightful too, and they feel nice. The little flowers feel nice. The thorns not so much. This one again, I don't know if you can see those, but this one's a thorny one too. This is one of those thorny ones. This one, I love this. This reminds me of cake icing. Look at these pink with white centres, and they're just so dreamy and delicate and just delightful. I can't remember this one's name, but it's really, really cute. I don't think it's a fairy because I've got the fairy that I'm going to show you in a minute, but it's another one like the fairy, and it's again a thorny little one. Oh yes, a thorny little one. Got to be careful, don't go grabbing it, or else you'll get a handful of prickles, and that's not good. We just hold it gently and it's fine. But see, it's just gorgeous. There's a little bud on it that's not flowered yet. I'm going to put these all in a vase. Well, they won't all fit in one vase. I'll have to have about 3 vases of these beautiful flowers that I've cut now. I might have to take the lemon one outside, but these little ones, most of them will be perfect inside. Now, this is something different. This is, I think, called a Chinese lantern flower. I'm not sure. That was what I'd been told years ago, I think, from memory, but I might have got it muddled. Anyway, I think they're some sort of lantern flower, and they're rather cool. This one grows rather big and arches over, and yeah, it just looks really nice round the side of the house, just arching and flowing and looking pretty. This was here when we moved in. This flower wasn't one that I planted myself. This one came with the house. Lots of them I planted myself. This one, this keeps coming back, but it's not lavender, so it's okay because I'm allergic to lavender. It gives me terrible headaches. But this little one has no smell, but it prolifically grows. I bought one and they're everywhere. Lucky I like them. They're like more like a wildflower because they self-seed and pop up all over the place. But they're rather cute and quite dainty. But when you pull them out of the ground at the end of the season, they're enormous big growths on it. That's the part that's not so good. But they are very cute. And if you've got space for them, they're good. And in certain places they're lovely in the garden, but other places they just make their way when there's not really room for them. This, I keep on thinking it's something beginning with P, Pitsamon. Okay, I won't try and pronounce it because it's probably wrong, but it's a tiny bit like a snapdragon, and it's really quite cute, but it's just beginning to flower, as you'll see. But I picked one because it's got one here. Has it got? Yes, it's a little I think they call them snapdragons. Yes. Oh, so cute. Not supposed to do that, I don't think. But it does look funny. We could make it talk, couldn't we? Yes. No, maybe not. Okay, back to the flowers. This one's gorgeous. It's not flowering yet. The ones that are flowering are far too high. I have to get them trimmed right down because I can't reach them. They're way up in the sky. This one likes to grow really fast and reach for the sky. It's a beautiful old antique rose and it has gorgeous big blooms of pastel pink. Not even this colour. Much more like this colour when it's fully flowered, but it's so pretty, and it's funny how it changes colour, but I love it. It's a big bush and it grows right along, and yeah, it's been there for a long time, and it's one of my favourite of all the roses. I just love it. It's got these big leathery leafy green big leaves. Very cool rose. I'll put that one over there so we don't pick up any. Now this little one, this is one of my, oops, it's fallen down. It had several more of these, but they've just fallen off. This one is one of my favourites. It's a wildflower. The first time I ever discovered this was in the centre of my lawn, growing and flowering, and I loved it so much I dug it out and planted it. And then every year when it went to seed, I would gather all the seeds from the little seed pods and crush them and shake them all around. And now I've got it all over the place. And I just adore this little one. It's just, it gets these little white flowers like this with the little tiny purple centres. Grows up and it arches and looks pretty. And it's just, yeah, it's one of my favourite flowers because it reminds me of cake icing. I'm not sure why, but it does, and I just love it. It's a wildflower from the lawn. This is another rose. Now I've forgotten the name of it. I should know it, but it's completely gone out of my head. Yep. Smells nice, and this is one that I can have like half a dozen of them inside and enjoy it because it's not a very heady rose. Some are very, what I'd call a heady rose, like very strong and very fragrant. Oh, I shouldn't stick my nose to it there. Sorry about that. Yeah, they're good as long as you don't sniff them. But I'm not sensitive to it unless I sniff it like that. Silly me. But it's such a pretty one. This is one of my white ones. I had one and it blew right over. in a terrible strong wind and uprooted itself completely. And it was a big one. So what I did was, it still had its roots, and I found it laying there. I trimmed it right back to about this high with just a little few leaves, and thought, well, it's, oh, I've got rainbows all over me. That's from my crystals. I'm not gluing. I'm not purple or blue or anything. That's just the crystals in the window making the pretty lights for us. Yay! No, this one, I trimmed it right back to small and redug it and planted it all and put rocks on. Once I'd got it all packed into the soil, I put rocks on it, and then as it grew from there, I put a stake and tied it to the stake, and now it's back and it's quite nearly as tall as I am again, and it's all re-established itself. So I was very happy that I was able to save this one. And since then, I bought two more of it, two more tiny ones for only like $5 each, little small roses like this to put in different parts of the garden. I found them at the local market, Sunday market, where they have fruit and vegetables and plants and all sorts of things. This one's lovely. I wish I could remember its name. It's a semi-common one, as in it's gorgeous, but it's quite, you find it lots of places, this white rose. It's very popular. Now this one is Cecily Bruna. And this one is almost no thorns, which is absolutely delightful. This is it when it's fully bloomed. And I've got some of it along the way at various stages. This is it when it's in a tiny bud. I call it a sweetheart rose. I don't know whether that's another name for the Cecily Bruna one, but yeah, I call it a little sweetheart rose because it's just so sweet. It's just adorable, that melty little pinkness. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I used to have this, and the neighbours on one side decided they wanted a new fence, and yeah, well, long story short, that was the end of the lovely rose and a whole lot of my garden. But I rebuilt and I redeveloped and remade it all, so it's all wonderful again. And I bought more of these. I bought them as tiny little bottles, budget friendly ones that were about $5 a little rose in it, easy to plant, and now they're all as tall as me, the ones I planted. I bought 3 or 4 of them because I loved it so much, and I thought, I really don't want to ever lose you again, little rose. You're just so gorgeous. Luckily, the neighbours on the other side are much kinder. Now, this one is just so soft and delicate, isn't it? Just delightful. One of my very favourite roses. And not prickly, which is good. I call it a gentle rose because it's not thorny, and you can have it just about anywhere looking gorgeous. It's wonderful in a vase. It looks absolutely delightful in a vase. And the scent is so delicate that it doesn't affect me at all. It's wonderful. This is an ornamental grass. Now, I normally don't like ornamental grasses because they are extremely hard to remove. They're a little invasive and not my cup of tea. But as far as ornamental grasses go, this is the one that I like because it's got these little funny little, I don't know what they look like. little leaves, little, I don't know why I think of bees when I see them, or honey, I'm not sure. But they are rather cool, and they're puffy little things, look. See, they're puffy. And look, they look nice in a vase of flowers. They look nice in amongst all the roses and things just hanging to the side. And the way they move is quite delightful too, I think. Just got to be careful with this. The grass will cut your fingers if you're not careful. But as long as you know and you're careful, it's fine. But let's see how, it's quite mesmerising, this one. It's absolutely delightful. It's almost could make it into one of those things that you hang up and, yeah, like a mobile thing. It's just, yeah, okay, they've got that floating over my head looking very silly. But it's so cute, I couldn't resist. Now, this is a fern, or a bit of it. I think this is actually off my kowhai tree, but I like it. It looks fern-like, and so I brought it in for a bit of greenery to show you, because it's always nice to look at some leaves as well as flowers, because some of the leaves are so delicate and so dainty and just gentle and so pretty. It's just nice to look at them, and they move so nicely too. Just pretty, pretty, pretty. Very dreamy to look at. I've got a couple more roses and then we're finished looking at all the ones I brought inside. This is a tiny one. I think my other white one's called Iceberg. Oh, it's all under the pile now. You know the big white one, or the bigger than this white one that I showed you that I said was a little bit, easy to come across. I think that's one's name's Iceberg, and I think this one's name's Snowball. But this is a thorny little one, very thorny. I've got to be very careful with it. But it's so cute. I just love these little ones. This climbs up, and I've got a trellis, and it all climbs up, and it does its little thing, and it just looks irresistible. My fairies are taking off and going everywhere too. I haven't got, maybe I've got garden fairies I don't know of and haven't seen, but I meant the fairy rose, no, this isn't the fairy. I mean my Cecily Bruno, my sweetheart rose is going everywhere. It's looking absolutely wonderful, all of them are growing. They're all taken and they're all growing really well. Some of them took about 3 years to really establish themselves, but one took off a bit faster. But to get taller than me and nice and strong, it was about 3 years, and that was from a tiny little, the planter was only about that high, about so wide, with a little bit of dirt and this tiny little thing no bigger than this sticking in it. And it grew. All of my ones that I bought like that grew. I only lost my lemon. I must have done something wrong with the lemon because it didn't grow. It kind of, yeah. But all the rest of them I managed to get to grow. Grapes and blueberries and what else? Oh, and my strawberries, they came bare-rooted. Most of the strawberries were bare-rooted ones. They arrived looking dead and a piece of newspaper wet. But I planted them anyway, and I watered them and took care of them, and they looked even more like their time. I still left them and took care of them, and months later they're taken off from the centre and growing like nobody's business. And the ones that I got that were in dirt, they took off straight away. But yeah, what was it that, oh yes, my raspberries came bare-rooted too. So if you ever buy something bare-rooted, like raspberry stalks or blackberries, or if you were to buy more strawberries that were bare rooted, that means that there's no soil around the roots, it's just the roots and the twig or the leaves, and they're wrapped in newspaper or wrapped in some kind of paper that's wet and put in a plastic bag and then posted to you, and it could take you a week to get it. So yeah, they've had a hard time getting there, and they do often arrive looking like dead sticks. Plant them anyway and wait. Don't pull them out when you think that they've all dried up. Just leave them there. Don't pull them out. I didn't, and it was worth it because they're growing from the centre right at the base. They're starting to take off from the, not off the dead stick. They're growing from under the dead stick or round it. They're just, yeah. The blackberries, the raspberries I've had them for 3 years now, but they arrived like sticks. The blackberries I only got last year, and it's only in the last few weeks or maybe a month that they have started to show any signs of life. And the strawberries, they took quite a long time to look like they were alive. But yeah, don't give up on them, just leave them in the soil and you're likely to get crops off them in time. That was what happened for me. I my first encounter with the sticks and the bare rooted. I contacted the seller and I said, I think they're dead. I think they just didn't make it. Maybe you shouldn't send them like this anymore because I think that I got dead ones. I planted them, but nothing's happening. She says, just keep them in the soil, just tend to them like normal. Don't worry about it. Don't remove them. Make sure they'll stay in the soil. It will happen. And I thought, okay, I'll do that. I'll believe you. And yes, she was telling the truth. It was good. They all came to life and everything's good. And same with peonies, but if you get peony tubers, they take years and years to establish themselves. Only this year I might get one flower. My other peonies are a peony tree, and they come back year after year, but that's an antique peony tree, and I get them 2 or 3 times a year they bloom. It's really wonderful. But I think the peonies tubers that I bought, eventually I'm going to get flowers from them. I think maybe I might get one this year, but they're just taking a long time to establish themselves. Bulbs are so much faster, like daffodils and freesias. They're just gorgeous, and even ixias, they grow so fast, and it's really wonderful. You get a lot of delight fast, but some in the garden, it's all about patience and waiting and just watching and just letting nature take its course. And it's rather delightful, and it's very exciting when you see something growing. It's very, very lovely. I like ones, I think, a little snow. And it's really taken off from the tiniest little plant. Now this one I think is called, is this the fairy? No, yes, this is the fairy. The other is the sweetheart rose. I muddled them up. This is the fairy, and this is a thorny little one. The sweetheart rose, Cecily Bruner one, is not thorny. This one's thorny and prickly, but so delightfully cute. Just melty, melty pink. I just love it. Look at all those little blossoms. This is just on one stalk. It puts on the most wonderful show. And it goes for a long time, these roses. They bloom for a long time. You generally get months of enjoyment out of them. Just keep deadheading them and they'll come back with more. They're just lovely. So sweet. They're like, I don't know, like I icing flowers, I think, and like I've got a little headgear that's got these little flowers, and it reminds me of that. It's like it reminds me of one that I've got that I wear in my hair. They maybe got the inspiration from these little fairy roses, I think. It's just so gorgeous. They're just so pretty, and these green leaves are so shiny on this one. Let's compare these ones. See, they're more of a flat matte finish, a little bit of gloss, but a little bit more matte finish, and these ones are really shiny leaves. And different, but this one and this one, these two are prickly, so I've got them well back so that nobody gets prickles in them. I've got them out of the way, just back. The ones that are not got the prickles, they can go anywhere they like and be enjoyed growing wildly all over the place, but the others have to be more kept as out of reach of the playing and the frolicking area in the garden. We'll finish off with this little non-thorny little one. It does have the odd little thorn, the odd little prickle and thorn, but overall it's the least of the thorny ones that I've got. It's almost prickle free, almost thorn free. This, it's got little aphids. This one I brought in with little insects. Oh dear. Maybe you don't go in the vase. I have to take you outside because you've got the little insects. Brought them in to show you. Do you know what we've got in our garden? We've got grasshoppers. And not crickets, I don't think. We put grasshoppers, and praying mantises. I've had them land on me. I've been out of the garden. I haven't had any for a while, but when we were doing some work in the garden and sorting out a new area, there must have been a whole lot of them there because they all came out to visit. And I was, yes, praying mantis here, praying mantis there. Yeah, they didn't do any harm, and they were obviously very excited for the company. I wasn't entirely as excited, but yeah, they were cute. And they continued to live in the area that they were enjoying. And I just did the work around them. Well, you have a wonderful day or evening. I have enjoyed showing you flowers from my garden. I hope you've had fun looking at them. You have a lovely, lovely night. See you, everybody. I hope to see you again soon.